Hi everyone, I'm going to show you a lesson plan on the New Zealand Maths website for teaching decimal numeration to level 4 students. Numeration is really about knowing what decimal numbers mean and how they are formed, and it's essential for success with decimal operations. The lesson's part of this unit here on place value with whole numbers and decimals and has overall objectives for the whole unit. Unfortunately, these are based on the New Zealand curriculum. If we look at the Victorian curriculum, we can see how they relate here. Recognise that the place value system can be extended to tenths and hundredths, using division by 10 to extend the place value system. This is level 4 area. If we look at level 3, it really focuses on place value of larger numbers and simple fractions. Level 5 and 6 go into decimals beyond hundreds and operations. We're going to look at lesson 5 within this unit. You can see here it has specific learning objectives at the start, reading and expanding decimal numbers, the use of 0 as a placeholder, recognising that the place value pattern continues to the right of the decimal point, and the idea of the place value base 10 system going in both directions. There are 5 activities. The first one is about refreshing prior knowledge of the base 10 place value system used for whole numbers, and really introducing and focusing on these things with the decimal numbers and also the use of the decimal point. Activity 2 is the one we're going to mostly focus on here today. So this begins with teaching students about the places using the place value house, and then each student is going to work in pairs to make numbers using the arrow cards, and then their partner will name those numbers and alternate. Arrow cards can be found here on the website, and you can print those out. So there's cards for thousandths, hundredths, and also for tenths and ones. When the students are reading these numbers, it's about finding different ways of renaming them. So for example, 4 and 953 thousandths, 4 and 95 hundredths, and 3 thousandths, and so on. Unfortunately, they do also say to read it as 4.953, which is a drawback to this website. There's ideas for differentiation in one of the support activities that would work well with this. So you may give each child a specific number or series of numbers. So you could focus on just tenths with one child, hundredths for most of the group, and then extend some to thousandths. While you're doing this, you want to also be emphasising that base 10 nature of the activity. The next activities focus on putting it in a real world context, so looking at the kind of things that you would use decimals for, and 0 as a placeholder. The last activity is about reviewing the learning that's occurred within the unit. The lesson builds on prior knowledge of place value with whole numbers and fits well with children's existing number knowledge according to Booker. Hands-on participation and discussion of concepts as well as this prior knowledge supports a constructivist approach to learning. So despite the couple of drawbacks mentioned, it's a useful website because it puts the lesson in context within a whole unit, and it's quite flexible. You could choose an activity or just use a whole lesson or even the whole unit. There's suggestions for differentiation and further support resources. Some lessons have attachments within the lesson, and there's also additional activities up here. Following that link, you can see this series of extra activities. We'll click on locating decimal fractions, which is an activity about ordering and placing decimals on a number line, making a large number line and using it with the whole group. The resources that you need for this can be found in the same section as the arrow cards on the website. There's also animations that you can use, for example this one on using arrow cards and ordering the decimal numbers. So first you make those decimal numbers using the arrow cards, which is what they were doing in the activity 2. And then it looks about putting them in order from smallest to largest, focusing on the tenths initially, and then moving down the decimal places. So that you can see, for example, that 0 and 37 hundredths is smaller than 39 hundredths. Overall, it's not the most colourful website, but it's worth a look. Thank you.